programs with juicy details of the showbiz balita portion. Moments later, I turned off the TV and I was preparing my breakfast when the doorbell rang. I left the kitchen and headed straight to the door. There stood a man carrying a package. The label goes, to SSO Taspower from Summit Media. The package was a set of magazines from their company. I get them free as their free endorser. I opened the box and read the first magazine, The Gossip, edited by Harold J. Sayon, featuring in its cover the international dance troupe Jive, headed by the leader and choreographer Erickson Sinday, with Regine Austin and Jeremy Callum, and also the stars of the must-seen TV sitcom Babae Poco, Kim Rose Aldaya, and Elaine Rose Olazo. The next morning, the next magazine, Totally Young, features the daughter of Chloe Shane Zion and Dave Mai Banting as she wins the 2040 ice skating competition for kids, held at Los Angeles, California. Chloe Sayon was the owner of the internationally renowned five-star hotel in the US with almost 50 branches all over the world. While Mai Banting was the governor of the Surigao store, one of his best platforms that made him win was terminating the war on drugs successfully. After scanning the pages of the magazines, I sat comfortably on my newly bought rattan furniture, manufactured by the DLS Woodcraft INC, owned by Jomar Manuel, John Raul Pagunya, and Marwell Malvas. Next, I browsed the glossy pages of the magazine, Vogue. From its cover, featuring the top-ranked model, Safira May Cabrera and Crystal Tilapel, to the featured stories of the international culinary artists Angelito Sabatin, Orlan Boy Plaza, and by Ray Sanzi Kalumpang, and the famous fortune teller turned print ad model, James Kyle A. Cobillas. The layouting done by the famous artist slash influencer, Clark Ian Labawan, was simply fantastic. I'm sure the magazine's owner is grinning ear to ear. Then, my cellular phone sound. It was a message from my manager, Arlen Uba. It goes, we'll have a meeting by the producers of your new movie today. Be at the office at 9:30 a.m. and we need to talk to your schedule today. What a busy day. Being the most famous Hollywood personalities isn't really that easy. I look at my watch. It was 7:45. I finished my breakfast and took a bath. After that, I mix and match my clothes and get dressed. I called John Larry Morinas, my personal driver, and ordered him to drive me to the meeting place. I left the house at 9. On my way, I continued browsing the pages of another magazine called The Architecture Today, featuring the masterpieces of interior designer Sarah Jean Corrada, architecture Jared Trujillo, and civil engineers Arfina Espuerta and Roy Jan Yara. I was nearly on the verge of dozing off when suddenly I heard the newly opened cafe called The Golden We're Going Up, 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 owned by Natalie Trujillo. I became so startled and so I immediately awoke. I was fond of watching the things outside the car until a billboard caught my eyes. It stars the winner of the 2040 Miss Grand pageant, Gian Ruelas. She's so beautiful as the morning sun that never fades. The trip was so fast, I did not notice I was already at the office. I then saw myself rushing to the customer's relations desk. I then asked if someone could escort me to the meeting room. I saw some celebrities as well, like Jericho Serna, our NBA player, and Angeline Cateres, the next Marion Rivera of the showbiz world. After some minutes of waiting, the nukriest business tycoon, John Paul Onglam, who is one of my closest friends and will be the producer of my next movie, will have a worldwide release. The meeting ran softly. After an hour and a half of talking with them, finally the contract signing began. Lawyer Bjorn Trosho prepared the contracts. It was past 11 after talking with my manager. I called my driver Lilith and ordered him to drive me for my other errands. On my way, I saw a very well-known Everlasting Boutique owned by Sophia Thea Grace Polea. She specializes in dresses and accessories for teens and teens at heart. You can see the beauty through the pictures of Hollywood actresses and singer Jessa Sabatin placed in front of the boutique. After minutes, the car came at halt. I'm already at Starbucks to grab a cappuccino ballerina latte. Outside a window, I saw paparazzis waiting for me. I put on my hat and sunglasses, just like Paris Hilton does. I went out of the car and was escorted by the security. All of the people I passed have cameras at hand, flashes all over the place. It's really good idea that I wore my glasses. I headed straight. Along the way, I bumped into a familiar face from high school, Rachel Callum. We beso and chat a little. She's now relocated abroad and worked at the Titanic ship. As soon as I finished conversation with Rachel, I called my manager Arlene right away. After talking with her, I put on my phone and turned on my newly bought iPad. After minutes of listening to Sade's songs, I turned it off when the hotel was already in sight. We stopped in the 100 Stars Hotel owned by Nadine Lacar. As I was on my way inside, I headed to the customer's relations desk and asked where's the conference room of the International Aeronautical Society of LA. Then, they called one of the employees of the hotel and ordered them to guide to the room, only that she mumbled to him. When I arrived at the room, I saw Lady Pilot, Rose Bolnaro, went inside with a flight attendant, Dimple Soriano. Moments later, after more or less 2 hours of discussion, it peacefully ended. As soon as the announcer proclaimed at the end of the conference, I immediately went out of the room and contacted my driver, Lilith. When I was on my way to the car, I remember the magazines I bought. I saw it on the back seat. I took it and saw the magazine, Totally Pinas, featuring in its cover the newly improvised Boracay. Inside were stories of engineers Arfina Esperta who discovered the formula for the retrieval of the ozone layer. She was awarded for the Nobel Prize Engineering. The last story features the achievements of Melchizedek Octobre Jr. as the only Filipino mountain climber who climbed the Mount Everest by hands. I was so amused by the achievements of the Filipinos, and I suddenly said to myself, I'm a proud Filipina. I was not aware of my arrival, not until the car stopped. The trip was like a flash, thanks to my driver, Limarines. I went up the car and I looked for the keys of my house at the porch. When I found it, I went inside, then to the kitchen. I pulled some water from the refrigerator and drank some of it. What a tiring day. I also ate some fruits before I went straight to the room, and when I'm listening to music, I think about the things that happened today. It's so wonderful to see all of those friends successful and fond of their lives. After moments of myself talking part of the day, I realized I was so exhausted and now needs rest. Before sleeping, I turned off the lights and said some words of applause, forgiveness, and thanks to the God above. But the story did not end there. A few weeks later, after all of us decided to do something special, something long overdue. We planned a surprise for the person who once believed in us before the world even knew our names. Our beloved teacher, Ma'am Kenneth Serna. Hidden along the coastline stood her peaceful farm, a breathtaking sanctuary where the sea breeze met rows of coconut trees, blooming gardens, and wide veranda facing the sunset. The place felt like home itself, calm, humble, full of love, just like her. Her husband, now proud retired seaman, welcomed us with a warm smile, while stories of her children, Zeus, now a respected pilot soaring skies, and Zach, saving lives as a dedicated doctor. One by one, we arrived. Omlang arranged 20 helicopters with painted the sky with excitement as we landed the scene straight from a movie. Governor Axel Maybanting made sure no one went hungry, sending 5 grand lechons prepared for the celebration. Nadine, now the owner of the world-famous Boracay Resort, hosted us for the breathtaking beach outing. Later that night, Jomar docked his luxurious yacht by the shore, ready for the celebration under the stars, while John Ralph proudly brought the finest, most expensive tanduay and red horse for the selection for the toast. Tables overflowed with foods, waves danced with music, laughter echoed through the ocean itself, and there she was, Ma'am Kenneth, laughing, smiling, and even dancing bonus with us despite of our senior citizen era, proving that joy never grows old. After a moment, title did not matter, fame did not matter, wealth did not matter. We were no longer doctors, governors, pilots, artists, or even celebrities. We were simply classmates again. As the night ended with music, backstories, and grateful hearts, we realized something so beautiful. This was proof that dreams were once whispered inside a classroom truly came true. And without a doubt, it became the grandest reunion ever written in the history of our batch. Once again, good evening, and let's enjoy the night. Back to reality.